the T8 over here. Just another classic sequential circuits instrument. Keypad's regarded as one of the nicer keypads found in a synthesizer of that type of action. It's kind of a real electric piano action.
Yeah,
sure.
it's
got some weight.
Nicely weighted.
Yeah. One of the earliest synthesizers to have aftertouch, so you can actually press in and apply modulation. And then the multi-track is kind of at the end of the sequential circuits era. It's sort of in the range where the Tom drum machine came out of, and the Max. And, so they're kind of a little bit towards the end of Sequential's original company life. Dave's tequila collection over in the corner there. I missed that. Well, it's more like just a collection of bottles, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of them are kind of getting towards the end. Prophet VS also. Some of the waveforms of the VS are in the Prophet X and XL preloaded. Comes ships with that, so you can have some cool VS waveforms on it. Other than that, that's kind of Dave's office in a nutshell. Sign poster, Radiohead.
Yeah.
The whole band. It's kind of neat.
I actually went to that, not that concert, but when they were doing that tour. Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So they use the Prophet 8 to kind of do whatever they use the Prophet 5 for on their recordings most of the time. Like Everything in Its Right Place, that's kind of like the classic track that he uses the Prophet 5 for the recording, but live he plays it. It's a little slightly different model patch, but he used the Prophet 8 live. They also have a Prophet 6, I believe.
Oh, that I didn't know. That's cool.
Yeah, big fans of Radiohead over here.
Yeah.
And then some of the old Prophet people from the 70s, 80s, from the original sequential circuits. There's kind of some heavy hitters on there for sure.
Yeah. It's like a who's who.
Pretty much. I mean, like when the Prophet 5 came out, it's kind of like on almost every record from like 1979 to 1983.
Yeah.
It's just like that sound.
First polyphonic, or one of the first polyphonic bands?
Yeah, Prophet 5 was the first fully programmable polyphonic synthesizer ever made. Yeah. So it's kind of crazy to think that
That is crazy.
Dave, like he first came up with a little box, sequencer, and then a little programmer thing. But then basically right after that, he just jumped in and made the most unique synthesizer ever made, pretty much. So it's pretty impressive. And yeah, like to this day, it's kind of like
up to the XL.
sought after. I'm sorry?
Up to the XL?
Yeah, up to the XL. So yeah, it's kind of like, the oldest and the newest right here. 45 years. Company's been around, but, not...
And it says a lot of adventures.
Yeah. Yeah, so in between Dave Smith Instruments and Sequential Circuits, Dave worked for Korg, developed Korg Wave Station with them, and then actually Dave is credited as being one of the inventors of the first software synthesizer also.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he says he's the first and last to do it, or something like that. He was the first one to use it and the first one to stop using it.
That's a good point.
Yes, that was the Reality software, I believe.
Was it at Korg that he did MIDI?
That was in Sequential Circuits when MIDI came out.
Okay.
Yeah, so that was the Prophet 600 in 1983. And so connecting to a Roland synthesizer. So Sequential and Roland were the kind of the two big companies, and then after that it was in every synthesizer. Yeah, and so that's why in 2013 he got the technical Grammy to commemorate the anniversary of that in 1983. This Prophet 5, I believe, has a MIDI hookup in the back.
Oh,
Yeah. So this is one that has MIDI, but it also has the pre-MIDI connection that connects only to the remote Prophet guitar over there, which is kind of funny.
were those popular when you were
I don't know if popular is the right word. I mean, like guitars in general were kind of popular
Yeah, I remember.
for a time. So, but I think Dave kind of just made it just to have one out there just in case someone might use it with Prophet 5. It doesn't make any sound at all. It has to be controlled. It's just a controller for the Prophet. Yeah.
Yeah, well, this kind of keyboard allows mobility, otherwise you're stuck behind the keyboard.
Yeah. But we have the XL here, which is our newest instrument, which is pretty unique for our company too, because it actually has samples in it. So 8DO, we have 150 gigabytes of 8DO samples in here that range from piano strings to synthesizers to just sound effects and noises and stuff like that. So pretty much everything that you find in your standard sampler, rompler is in here, but it's a little more in depth than those standard samples. Every sample, as you can see here, there's pedal on near, pedal on far. There's all these different mic combinations and placements for each sample, so you can really dial in a sample that kind of fits your patch. And then in addition to that, we have 2 oscillator synth section. So you pretty much have 2 samples and then 2 oscillators per layer, and then you have 2 layers per patch, so you can have up to 4 samples and 4 oscillators going at once. You can kind of see what's going in. Patch right here. Piano patch. Then underneath that is a choir.
Sounds nice.
See what the synth's doing. So it's just kind of like, full-on synthesizer if you want to do that sort of thing with sine waves, saw, square, and super saw. And you can hear how the patch kind of works together.
Can you modify the sample as it plays?
Yeah, you can do some minor sample editing.
Besides the
So here, let's go to sample 2, so the loop's on, and you can change the size of the...
start time.
So that's just like a slice of the sample. And then you can move the start of the sample, so you can kind of tune it down, do weird things.
Which is, then after the mixer, everything goes through the filter.
Yeah, so
Filter
everything's going
effect.
through the filter. You can bypass the samples from the filter, though, if you want to have just the synthesizer being affected by the filter, and then have like a clean piano sound underneath your like kind of filtered synthesizer. Or you can have everything running through the filters. New design of the filter. It's a resonant low-pass filter, new design with Dave Rossum, unique to this instrument, so no other synth has that filter in it right now. See, right now the samples are bypassed the filter, so you can hear the full kind of spectrum of the samples, but then you can bring in the synthesizer part. Let's see. 2 effects per layer. that are modulatable too, with the modulation section. You can also use the sample waveforms as modulators too. So you can kind of have the waveform of a sample kind of affect an oscillator and things like that. We like to think of the instrument samples as just another set of oscillators. So if you kind of think of it in that kind of concept, that's sort of what the XL is all about. It's just a 4 oscillator synthesizer. It's just that 2 of those oscillators happen to be sample based and 2 of them are DSP waveforms. So you can kind of get some cool sounds out of that. And then it's 8-voice stereo. So there's a separate filter for the left and right channels. So the stereo filters are going through the stereo samples are going through the stereo filters. So everything is true stereo from end to end. Until if you want some more polyphony, you can put it into 16-voice mode, which brings it down to 1 filter. So everything's still in stereo, it's just going through 1 filter at the very end. And then if you want 32 voices, you just hold in the 16-voice mode, and so that bypasses the filter completely, and now you have pretty much just 1 sample and 1 oscillator to work with, but now you have 32 voices to play, just kind of more piano type stuff. Kind of if we had a sustain pedal, it'd be more effective, but we kind of added that so people who wanted to play it more like a piano can have that sort of option.
You can press the hold.
And yeah, so as an arpeggiator, also a step sequencer, which is similar to our previous instruments, Rev 2 and Prophet 6. 4 LFOs per voice. And yeah, auxiliary envelopes. It's pretty, there's a lot you can do with this synthesizer. Definitely, you can play it as a stage piano, you can play it as a synthesizer, you can play it as a sound designing tool. It's really versatile. It's one of our most versatile just because it has those samples in it, so you can actually do the pianos if you want something. If you want to take one synth on the road that does, synthesizer stuff and piano, it's a good choice. So, just that. But yeah, if you have any questions about anything, feel free to ask.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you own any of our instruments.
I used to own this one actually. The
Mofo. Okay, that's cool. I like the Mofo.
And yeah, I do have that contest on the Rev 2. But after I need to use them often. I don't know that really long.
Yeah, well, right. Modular is a whole other game for sure.
I don't know at the moment that's what I'm using. I guess I need to go back.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, you can do a lot with just the Tempest.
Mm-hmm. Well, I've used it as a drum machine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
For the modular. Then I started to put everything on my modular. But,
Our Pro 2 actually has
I need to try to go back.
CBs, so you can kind of run it to your modular. This is our modular synth, the Pro 2.
Right. Yeah, I like this one, but I wanted to get a polyphonic one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice because you've got the kind of the step sequence.
Yeah, that's
Very
really nice.
visible
I
and
know.
very
Yeah,
nice.
it's really easy to use the sequencer. You know, just kind of like there's taking out the steps. You want to tie. It's like you just hold it down and then plus, and then that's tied. So yeah, it's pretty nice sequencer. Very unique to that instrument as far as all of our other ones go. But the Rev 2 is a great choice if you're just kind of looking for a polyphonic synthesizer.
We'll run it.
And yeah, blend well with the Tetra too, similar voice structure.
the moment I'm trying to do a little bit like when Carson do his show.
Sure.
Just to push a chord and then just on the notes.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
I'm not very good at playing the keyboard, so
Well, that's what's. I mean, yeah, that's what's great.
It's easier. You put a chord with a hold and then you start to.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You do sound shaping.
So this does have the hold too. Carson's great.
Yeah. Well, when you find some, what do you call it, drones, and you push a chord.
Yeah, that's. That came out in 2015, so that's kind of, it's not like an old instrument, but as far as everything that's on this stand, I guess the Prophet 12 is older than that, and it's with the Pro 2 also. But 2015 for the Prophet 6, and then 2016 for the OB6, 2017 for the Rev 2. Yeah, and the Prophet 6 and OB6 are two fully voltage-controlled analog oscillators, so they're going to sound more like how the 70s, 80s style synthesizers are going to be. Whereas the Rev 2 uses digitally controlled analog oscillators, so it's still analog, but it's just temperatures are all controlled digitally, basically. And then the Prophet X uses digital waveforms, so that's entirely software-based. So it's kind of the three different flavors of synthesizer.
So here it has two oscillators.
Right, yeah, so two oscillators, and then one global LFO, and then it has, and since it's just one layer, there's two effects per layer, so there's two global effects basically. And so you have your oscillator mixer right here with a sub oscillator connected to oscillator 1, and then you have your low pass and high pass analog filters, and then going into your envelope section. So this is kind of like subtractive synthesis 101 right here, and these are kind of neat because there's no menus to go into at all. It's just every knob does what it does. You change the patches just by these buttons right here. There's no kind of going in there.
Menu diving.
Yeah, exactly. There's no menu diving. But that said, you can't do a lot of modulation like you can on the Rev 2. This is sort of like it's simplified, but the tone is kind of you can't really match the tone.
Yeah.
So I heard some sort of noise. Yeah, see, you can synthesize any sound, with that. You can, if you wanted to make a kick sound, a snare sound, and a hi-hat sound, record them into your DAW and have a drum set made just with that Prophet 6. I mean, that's true with any synthesizer, but the time it takes for you to kind of think of a sound and for it to come out of the Prophet 6 is kind of quick, just because there's none of the menus to kind of go through and stuff.
Did you hear the thunder patch? So how many patches can this hold?
There are 500.
Oh, wow.
So from patch 000 to 499. And then so those you can rewrite and save your own patches. But then if you want to load the original patch back in, it's duplicated in patches 500 through 999. So you can kind of save a patch back to if you want to. So you always have the factory patches on the synthesizer. Recently, they came together and did this collaboration. So this is a Tom Overheim design. It's just we make it. So pretty much it's set up similar to the Prophet 6 in the way it's engineered, but the actual voices on the oscillator and filters are SEM designed by Tom. So it's kind of neat that it's a new Overheim. It's just we happen to manufacture it. Yeah, well, it's starting to match it with modern replacements, yeah. And yeah, these can do a little bit more than the original Prophet 5 did. There's effects and sub-oscillators and an extra voice. But side by side, you can kind of hear they're sort of similar, but the OB6 has a little bit. I would think that the voices kind of blend into each other. There's more bleed, and it's kind of a little less stable into tonality-wise. So, just has some slightly different flavors. That's it. I like number 7 patch. That's a good number 6 patch.
So right here on what, patch 177, I guess that's it, or that's the one?
Yeah, so that's patch 177. If you want to go to like patch 000, you'd press down the banks and go 0 here, and then press down 10s and go 0, and then lift it up and press 0. So it's changing the 10s or the bank or the 1s pretty much. Yeah, Prophet 6 is one of my favorites, for sure. Just tone-wise alone, I think it's one of the best sounding synthesizers. I like the OB6 too, personally. But if Dave's listening, Prophet 5 is and yeah, we make module versions of the Prophet 6 and OB6, as you can kind of see on top of those racks. Exact same features, it's just minus the actual keyboard, same amount of knobs, everything's one-to-one pretty much. much. We do the same thing for the Rev 2 module. It's not out on display yet, though. So those are the three modules that we make. Like exactly one-to-one knob kind of thing. The Prophet 12 module, as you can see, has sort of a condensed interface from the keyboard, but because of that, we were able to fit it into a rack space. You can rack that up into your rig if you wanted to and have a 12-voice synthesizer.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's really compact.
Yeah, and it's pretty intuitive. Like once you change one of these values, you can kind of go into. You press select and you can kind of go into the additional parameters. So pretty much you have everything you need right in the front panel, but if you need to go deeper, you're pretty much just 2 clicks away from wherever you need to go.
Wow.
Yeah, the Tempest is cool. It's a 6-voice analog drum machine, so there's actual digital and analog oscillators in there, as well as drum samples. So you can synthesize your own drum sounds plus synth sounds and bass, so you can kind of use it as a toolbox and do more than just drums. You can record, play notes and things, melodies into it. So pretty powerful. In addition to being just kind of a drum machine. Sounds like we got some distortion up there. Prophet 12 is also a digital waveform oscillator, so it's the same kind of oscillators that are in the Prophet X. You just have 12 voices in that one. And it's a little kind of different in terms of concept. This one's pretty popular with sound designers, kind of doing treatments for TV and film and things like that. But it also has a cool kind of DX7 bank, so people who are into the DX7 kind of like that. A lot of jazz players like it. Before the Prophet X, it was kind of like the only instrument that we had that come close to doing that type of sound, like piano and if you have any questions, let me know. Otherwise, at this point, I just kind of like to have you. If you want to take a spin in here, I can close up the doors and you can just have fun playing out some stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, this one sounds incredible. Never heard of 6.
Yeah. So, you kind of just did the basic, run through of it before. So, if you, it's good to note that the mod wheel sometimes is up, and so you want to start it with it down to show the actual sound. But yeah, if you want to go through presets, it's just these buttons. Once you get to 9 and want to go to 10, you just hold down 10 or 10 and 1, and then back there.
Nice. All right.
Yeah. Go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Justin.
You're welcome, Frank. Let me know if you need anything. Okay.